So Dan, what's the game plan here? Whenever something like this is announced, oh, that's intriguing. I think, oh, what are they up to? What are they up to? What's behind this?
What's behind it? Good point. This marathon certainly wasn't about winning. It's about pretty much proving that robots can run, because you might think it's a bit odd, but actually walking's pretty hard for a robot, and they've just run a marathon. So it's kind of proving how far this technology has come. And of course, it's not really about making robots run. It's about transforming industries, and potentially this is China saying in this race, China's sprinting ahead because these humanoid robots are no longer sci-fi fantasy. They're actually part of the workforce, and they could even be, you could even use them for the future of sport and for running as well. But as you say, these robots weren't doing it by themselves. They were doing it with human supervision. But I always like to say, as Humanoid talks about the future of work and AI and stuff, it's a little bit like with cars, isn't it? We have almost driverless cars now, but of course there's some kind of human supervision there. But now we've got these running robots with human supervision. Well, give it a couple of years and they might be running by themselves.
They might. But why bother making them run? Why don't just give them wheels?
No, absolutely. Totally right. You'd have to be a tech expert to think, wait a minute, didn't we make the car? Sure. I mean, horses would be better, right? A dog runs quicker. I mean, and you're absolutely right. So obviously there are robots that have wheels, but there's also robots out there you've seen online, and they look like a little bit like dogs, and they've been doing this kind of stuff for a very long time, including in the military, etc. What the point of this, though, is the trillions of dollars which is in making robots that look like human beings and that human beings will like and work alongside. So this really is about the future of work. And actually, in a kind of odd way, it's more to do with kind of B2C, business to consumer, i.e. you most probably would like to have your butler walk to you rather than come on wheels. And so I think that's what they're trying to prove here, is that they can start making these humanoid robots, and companies like Boston Dynamics and Figure AI, and there's loads of these ones, including, of course, Elon Musk with his famous kind of Optimus, or whatever it's called. And all these people are trying to do the same thing, make robots that look like us, that we will like and we will use and work next to.
But did you say in there that you could see a potential use in sport? I know you're saying it's about, the general sort of the workplace and how it might look in the future, but did you see a use in sport?
Well, not necessarily a use in sport, but certainly a use in, as what you might call entertainment, like seeing these robots. You remember Robot Wars was a very famous thing for a while. It's the same principle with maybe robot runners and robot, boxers, etc. This could happen. But it's not really just about sport. It's really a mirror for society's future. But yeah, I could easily see where you have robots running. I don't think it's going to be very fair that robots are running against people, because it's likely very, very soon that they'll be quicker in the next couple of years. And of course, from then, poor humans don't have a chance, do they?
Oh, Mark, are you feeling threatened?
Slightly. Yeah, I've seen obviously the time they got, I think at that recent half marathon was around the 2:40 mark.
Mm-hmm.
It's and like Dan was saying, it's exciting to see how remarkable an achievement it is in technology, despite them being, below the average. I would say around about 2 hours is the average across sort of both genders. But yeah, I think it's a little while off before they catch up to the humans.
Dan, is China, talking about leading the race, is China way out in front here?
Well, when it comes to AI and comes to technology, and especially around humanoid, yeah, I mean, that's why, Elon Musk is famously trying to get as much money behind Tesla so they can have a bit more of a chance. But if you look at people like Boston Dynamics and other kind of American companies, they've done pretty well. But actually, when you look at the leading people in this technology, it is China by some stretch, to be fair. And of course, they tend to do things a lot cheaper. So just like Tesla might have a self-driving car soon, it might cost quite a bit. But actually, there's most probably 10 different makes in China which cost about half as much. So it's going to be fascinating to see. And I love the fact that Mark's thinking that you could use AI and these robots as coaches and as pacers. And I think that's a great metaphor for us all. Use this technology to help us and not be scared of it.
Well, yeah, but then people are scared of the fact that it becomes so clever that it overtakes us, isn't it? That's the fear.
Yeah, and I think that fear can be founded in a little bit in science fiction. We've all watched Terminator and these things, and so we could get a bit worried by those things. But I think that's the other thing, isn't it? Just like in manufacturing, we now have factories that don't have as many people, so we're going to have work with not as many people. But AI and robots are going to help us a lot. I'd be fascinated to see how these robots potentially can help us with other things like caring for old people and these other things where actually we need a lot of people, and we'll need a lot of kind of agents in that area. So I have a feeling that it might be really useful for us all as we all get a bit older.
Well, it'd be nice to end that on a positive note rather than the usual kind of, what's going to happen? Dan, thank you very much indeed. Tech expert Dan Sodergren and Edinburgh runner and coach Mark Baster.